Okay. Hi, it's Doug, Barefoot Adventure, and this is day 30 of my 1,000-day adventure. And I thought it's time I tell a story. So, this story. There's a lot behind this story. Just getting it out and sharing it is kind of like the vulnerability of, what it's all about. It's also because of the way my life is and all the just crazy coincidences and way things happen, I have a feeling that by sharing this story and just myself talking it out, it's part of the adventure and going to lead to where the adventure's going. So, what am I talking about? Well, first off, it was back in, and I'm looking at my board there, it was on November 25th, I decided to start a new adventure. And the name of that adventure is The Spiritual Adventure of the Barefoot Princess Bride. Yeah, I got that right. As you see over my shoulder here, I always have this picture. It's from The Princess Bride. Princess Bride it's my favorite movie of all time. Actually, I went to it when it was in the theater when it first came out. I went for Andre the Giant, another story. The Princess Bride, to me, signifies so much, and it's kind of like my life, how I live it. I've actually put it into a couple of relationships. There's so much I could go on and tell about, but let me get into this adventure and how it led up to this adventure that I'm on now. It was 18 years ago. I went through a major transformation in life. It happened after my second divorce. And at that time, I was looking at how things work, what's going on in my life. And one of the main areas I looked at was relationships. How does this work? Why did I go through two of them? What do I need to do to make it work? And how do these things work? It was a whole bunch of questions. So I started dating, and I actually dated quite a bit in those 4 years until I got married again. I actually went out on over 100 dates. And what I was doing also while I was dating is I was paying attention to what was happening during the dates, and I was studying the basic generic dating information that was out there. The Dr. Phil. I looked into Tony Robbins' program. All of this sort of stuff. And then it was after I got married. My brother, it was right before I got married, my brother committed suicide. And because of that, I really started looking into understanding the human mind and how it worked. And it was, after I got married, I took a major course on NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming. It's probably the best course out there in training on how the human mind works. But what happened while I was in that training, my instructor told us about this. It's kind of the dark side of NLP. And he says, if I hear of any of you people looking into this or studying it, I'm going to come and rip up your certification. And he told us that this training is called speed seduction. So of course I had to write it down, and I went and looked into it. And what it actually has to do with is this whole study of how to interact with women on almost a primal level. And it was just amazing to learn this aspect of dating. And it was totally different than what I had learned from, the Dr. Phil's and stuff. I'm not saying this was right. It's actually a little manipulative. But yet I saw a total different side of relationships. And so that led me into deeper learning about relationships and just a whole new way of looking at it. And so now let's fast forward up to, I went through a third marriage. And I'll say right off the bat, while I'm no perfect angel, I never left a marriage. I never had an affair. I was committed to them. I would have done anything I could. As I say, I wasn't perfect. I never hit a person. Yet, I needed to improve myself. And so that's what I've been continuing to do for 18 years. And so now here I am. It's been 7 years since I've been married. And so it was about 3 years ago I decided I want to write a book on relationships because I have this whole new view of it and I would love to approach it. And so while I was, I was actually recording while I was out in the fields working. I worked with horses, and I came across this one chapter, and I was talking about what do you want in your life? Who do you want in your life? And it's this whole thing I've heard of, well, you will attract who you are. And I got to thinking about that, and I went, well, wait a minute. If I want to attract an athletic person, I don't think I have to be an athlete. I just have to know that I'm going to go there, and I'm working towards that. And I stepped back, and I looked at my life, and I says, okay, I know where I want to go. I know what I want to do. I know who I want to attract. Am I really moving in that direction? And something about that just hit me. And I went, no, I'm not. I have all these tools, but I'm not actually moving towards who I want to be. And so I stopped writing the book, and I really dove into even though I'd been already in the spiritual path for quite a few years, I really dove deep into going into myself. And it was a very intense couple of years that I did that. And then it was back in the end of March. I remember casting it out into the universe and saying, it's time. I'm ready to attract a woman into my life. And I just let it go. See, it was May that I did that. It was the end of May, and because I remember it was about 2 weeks later, I got a friend request on Facebook from somebody. And I'm going to keep this person's name and the identity quiet. I have deep respect for this person. The gifts and learning I got from this person was absolutely amazing. And in the next video I'll talk deeper about what I learned about it. So anyways, what happened is I put it out into the universe. I'd like to attract somebody, that person. And so it was then, about 2 weeks later, it was June 5th, I believe, that I get a Facebook request for a friend from this person who had an interaction, crossing of paths in the past, but we really didn't know each other. And so I looked at the profile and I went, oh, okay, interesting. And I noticed some things that I wanted to talk to her about. She had interest, and one of them, could definitely benefit me. And so I, sent a message to her and go, hey, this is Doug. Thanks for friending me. I'd like to talk to you. And long story short, it was finally 3 messages later, because she said, yeah, let's talk. But it was until the 3rd message, clear into I think it was like the beginning of October, that finally she responded, okay, yeah, let's talk. And so we finally had the setup to talk. Now this is where things really get interesting. I have been studying all sorts of different spiritual practices and beliefs and religions and everything, and the one that fascinates me is one of the first 4 religions and spiritual practices, which is Huna. And so for the week or so before, I had actually been going through a bunch of Huna practices around the area of just forgiveness. Because if you look into all spiritual practice and religion, forgiveness is the deep part of it. And so I had just been going through these meditations. And what happened, and it was October 5th, that morning I was doing the meditation of forgiveness. And during the meditation I am supposed to think of anyone that there is sadness and I need to forgive, or anything in that lines. And so just instantly, first I went to my brother. And I went, no, everything is fine. And then I went to my father, and I went, no, because of what has happened, and I should, preface this, both my brother and my father committed suicide. My brother 7 years ago, and my father 2 years ago. So I was going through, and I went, no, I am at peace with this. And as soon as I put that message out, I heard this voice. You had to commit suicide so you'd get it. And for the longest time, I got the message was he had to commit suicide so you'd get it. And the thing is, I knew instantly what I had to do. And so what I just decided is I was going to go up, it's about not even 7 miles from here. It's called the Forest Hill Bridge. And it's where 7 years ago I went up there because I wanted to jump. It was after my third marriage. Just everything had gone down the toilet. My business, everything had gone down the toilet. And I was just at wit's end. So I went up to that bridge and I wanted to jump. But I didn't. And so here I was. This is, back in October now. I knew I had to go back to that bridge. And I knew I had to make a video because I had a coaching practice and I wanted to start it again. I wanted to go to that bridge because on my coaching page there was a little tab about suicide. And it was just simply, if you come to my coaching page, and I'm going to make these videos about my coaching so I can help you in coaching, maybe you'll see that suicide tab and you'll click it and it's information to, help you if you're thinking about suicide. It was just a kind of a side note on my page. But I knew because of that message on October 5th that I had to go to that bridge and remake this video. So that's what I was going to do. This is where it gets strange. Also that night, I had the conversation finally with that woman. And I went into this conversation I just want to talk to her about this one interest because it can help me with me in my business. And to be honest, I didn't find this woman attractive. It's just, she wasn't just wasn't my match. And so had the conversation. It was fine, but it was a strange conversation because, I don't know, things just aligned. And everything we talked about, it was like, wait a minute, that happened to you? That happened to you? You had that happen to you that many times? That happened to you, did that in that many months also? And it was just similar, just everything was just aligning. It was so strange. And we had a long talk that night and then ended the talk. And the strange part was, I went to bed that night, and 3 times that night I woke up, and all 3 times I said the same thing. And what I said was, I found her. We connected. I can't remember if we said let's talk again the next night, because it was just talk. That's all it was that Friday night. I just wanted information. And I think almost we messaged each other and said let's talk again the next night. And that night, or during that day, I went, wait a minute, there's something going on. And part of the book I wanted to write a while ago was this idea of find someone that you don't have chemistry with. Because really, that chemistry, that's what destroys things. Wait and build the chemistry. Find someone that you don't have that attraction to. And the next morning, while I was doing stuff, and I had to work that morning. It was strange. Usually I have the weekend off. And so while I was at work, and I'm going, wait a minute, this is aligning exactly with what I was thinking in that book. Why don't I talk to her and just say, hey, why don't we just look into this, no expectations, and if nothing else, I'm going to know I found somebody that aligns with me so perfectly on all those levels that I was looking for. If I can find somebody this amazing, wow, I can find somebody else. And I even told her that. And she agreed. And what was even more amazing is she said she woke up 3 times in the middle of the night with just this rush of euphoria. And it was basically the same exact times. So something happened. Yeah, I see we're up to 15. I'm going to chop it here. I'll finish the story. I will say that it was like 4 or 5 days before we were actually to meet. She decided she was going to walk her own path. I'm not even going to speculate why. I don't know why. But the learning I have done since then, and the crazy thing that I discovered about what happened that morning has just totally changed my life, blown my mind so dramatically, and set me onto a path that's changed my mindset more than, and my beliefs, more than the 60 years before this? Yeah, that's why I'm going. I want to share this story. I want to start getting it out because I believe that by me sharing this story is going to start revealing to me. I was going to go unveiling to me what's before me. I know the Burner Strong is, because the Burner Strong came out of this attracting this woman into my life. She was part of helping create that, so it was amazing. Yeah, my adventure started. I've been kind of embarrassed to bring out the spiritual adventure of the Barefoot Princess Bride for quite a while. Yet, you know, if I'm going to find my Princess Bride, I've got to put it out into the universe. As I was thinking, what better way to put it out than on the universe? So we'll see what happens. This adventure's crazy, and I haven't yet begun what's started to happen. And I'll tell you about this guy. So talk to you later, and we'll see you tomorrow.